2. How's it going, team? Richie here from the Kiwi Hustle podcast. I'm here with a very special guest, one of the household names of New Zealand sport, who's gone to the highest of his sport, experienced such a massive adversity, and come out on the other end a champion. And that is our great man here, David, the Tua man Tua. How's it going, Mozo?
Thank you, brother. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for this great honor. Looking forward to having a good chat.
So, it's a massive blessing to have someone of you on our podcast, Mozo. Never in a million years would I've ever thought that we'd have this opportunity a lot faster than expected. But to be in your presence is a massive blessing, and I appreciate it so much, Mozo.
Right back at you. I thank the Uso buddy for setting it up, and now here we are. About to have a really, really good talk about life, about challenges, and just about things that we love to do.
Everything. So tell us about yourself, Mozo. Where were you born? Were you born in the great islands of Samoa, where you went to school, and so forth?
I was born in Samoa, raised in South Auckland, from a family of 8 kids, including myself, 4 boys and 4 girls.
Yep.
I was very blessed to have great, loving, beloved parents. They've lived an amazing life to make sure that we become good kids.
Yep.
Every day, there's not a day that passes that we often think about, the life that they've lived and the things that they've done for us.
So you guys came from
Samoa. From Samoa
to New Zealand?
Here, migrated here at the end of 1984.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where did you guys go to straight away? Mangere?
So, yes, Mangere.
275?
Mangere. Apparently, we were destined for Porirua.
Wow.
But at the time, they decided to detour. And instead of going to Porirua, we ended up staying in Mangere.
Yep.
And then moved from there to Otahuhu, and then back to Mangere again.
South Auckland hard.
Absolutely, all day, every day, absolutely.
So what school did you go to, Mozo?
Went to Beta, had an amazing experience there.
Yep.
Even though I didn't speak a word of English, I enjoyed my time there. Met some amazing friends. Then when we moved to Otahuhu, I finished off my intermediate school there, and then went to Oru College.
Wow.
Yes.
Did you ever come back to Mangere College or no? Did you finish your schooling there?
Yeah, well, I think I was supposed to go down to Tupperware College. But things changed. I think Mom and Dad said, no, you need to go to Otahuhu College. So I said, oh, wait, good, yeah.
So, Mozo, how did you take up the great sport of boxing? What took you upon that journey?
I was forced into the sport.
Yep.
My dad loved the sport of boxing. He boxed himself.
Yep.
But for some reason, he didn't like training. He just loves to fight. He loves to box.
Punching.
The banana trees, yeah.
Yeah.
But, he...
What was your dad's name?
Tuavale. My
Tuavale.
dad's name is Tuavale. And siblings, I think it was about 8 of them. And his parents are educators back in Samoa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, school teachers.
Teachers, yeah.
Yep. So he was actually the black sheep of the family. Never wanted to go to school, so he would rather hang out with his friends. So he understood the importance of not having a good education.
Yeah.
So he worked really, really hard, and he had the only store in the village. He had the only car in the village.
So he was more of an entrepreneur.
Pretty much. Hard-working man, absolutely.
And obviously your beautiful mum. Tell us a little about her.
Mum, her name is Noela.
Yep.
She's from the village of Fastotai and Leudumuega.
Yep.
These are like villages that, when you ride in Samoa and Faleolo. So these are actually the 3rd villages from the airport when you're heading towards Apia.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So as soon as you land, you're basically in your village, so to
In
say.
the village, that's right. Yeah,
Wow.
Village, yeah.
And so obviously your dad loved fighting.
Yeah.
What was your school days like, Mozo? Was there ever an incident where you punched someone and you knew you had that in you? Was there any of that at all? But before you obviously got thrown into the stardom of being a great fighter, Yeah, were there any incidences back at school when you were in kindergarten or at school in Samoa, or where you were like, shucks, I could take this up as a job?
No, there was none of that. I think I was too scared of my father. I was too scared of my father getting in hiding than beating up kids at the school. I think I love being at school. I enjoyed being at school. Some of the things that I love the most at school, apart from playing sports, is eating someone's lunch.
So, what was David like at school? What would he have been like? Would he be the one that got detentions, or was he the scholar that would listen to the teacher?
Yeah, pretty much. I was at the deputy principal's office every day. He'll be up before the assembly starts. He'll be up there and you'll be giving out the notices. And the last thing I know he'll about to say will be, David Tua, come to my office. So thank you, Mr. Fisher. A few of those talk got through. So thank you for that.
So, Mosel, how did you get into boxing? So what was the first thing that you did? You joined up to a gym. How did that all come to fruition?
As I said earlier, I was forced into the sport. So Dad enjoyed the sport, but he didn't like to train. He would rather fight. So he saw the gift in me when I was a kid, and he realized that the best thing to do is to beat it out of me, I suppose. So what he did, he brought up these young kids. They were a little bit older than me in the village, and he would line them up.
And this is in Samoa?
In Samoa. And he'll bribe them with lollies and bread from the store.
No way.
Yeah. And from his
store.
From his store.
So he'd be like, come and give my son a hiding.
Yeah. That's it. That's pretty much. If you give my son a hiding, I will give you more stuff. But I didn't understand what it meant. See, I got anxiety. Like anxiety, I understood what anxiety was. I understood what depression was, suicide was, at a very young age because of those moments.
So, how old were you when this was happening?
9 years old.
And how old were the people that you were fighting?
I think they were about 12, 13.
Shucks.
Yeah.
And how did you know of these kids? Were they just from the local village?
They're from the village. Yeah, from the village. They knew Dad really well.
Yep.
Their parents. I mean, everyone in the village. Everyone know each other, right? Pretty
Yep.
much. Yeah, you got to look out for each other. So Dad knew them, and he had this very distinct whistle. And then when he whistles, you better come over.
Was that for you to come home and your siblings, or was that just for everyone in the village?
For everyone. So if it happens, you're standing under his mango tree, and then he whistles, you don't come, you'll be in trouble.
And was his aspirations at the time, was he always going to get you into boxing, did you know? Or was it just to give you discipline because he didn't want to, hit you? Was that the reason?
I think it was more the discipline than anything.
Yeah.
But then he realized that, there was a gift. God had blessed me with a gift.
Give us an example. Was there somewhere where you knocked out so bad that he went to sleep for like the whole day? Is that what happened, Uzo?
Pretty much.
Who was it? Have you heard my this?
It was my cousin. It was my cousin. Hey, hello, Uzo. Hope you're well. Hope you're well, man. Yeah.
Well, tell us a little. Do you remember that fight distinctly?
Yeah, because I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to spar.
So what happened?
But he was actually throwing punches, and I didn't want to hit back. And then the old man was like, "Fight, hurry up, fight!" So I was crying, right? I was throwing punches, and then when you're in that moment, you just let one go.
It's sink or swim, mate. It's sink or swim.
That's it. You let one go, and then it did the job, and no more sparring. No more sparring.
And did you develop your peekaboo style then, Moses, or was that developed when you got to New Zealand?
I think it was survival more than anything. So you're young, you do certain things, but this I realized back then, was more survival than anything.
Yeah. And you come to New Zealand, you get into schooling. How do you continue your boxing career? Because obviously you were doing like backyard fighting back in Samoa. How did you continue it in New Zealand? Did you sign up to a gym? Or were you doing backyard fights here? How did that continue here, Moses, when you got into New Zealand?
So I sort of enjoyed the school, as I said. I lived and loved every moment of being at school.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be in class, but I would rather play with my friends. But league, anything, any sports, I got involved with. But a few things that I did that I wasn't supposed to do made me sort of got in trouble, maybe more times than others.
And what were they also?
I think it was taking one of the teacher's keys and drive his car around.
Oh, no way, you did that. You did that.
Drive his car around the building. And then sort of got myself in trouble. And then at the time, my older brother was boxing at the time.
Yep.
And then the old man made him, to be my giver at the time. Because Dad was working pretty much 14, 15 hours a day.
What was he working at? Was he a factory worker?
He was a factory worker, yeah. Hard working man.
What did your lovely mum do?
Mum was working part-time jobs. I think she was working at the rest home, and then at night she was a cleaner at the school.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
And what was your first gym that you signed up to?
Otahuhu boxing gym. It was at one of the community center in Otahu.
Yeah.
Right across from the monument. The monument there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you signed up on your own accord, or did your dad take you down?
No, actually, my dad was there. My older brother was there, and he spoke to the coach, spoke to the trainer at the time, Hugh Burge, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what happens also, so you do a training session and Uber sees potential in you, is that how it all came to fruition? And did you just jump on the bag and just break the bag? Or?
Well, they had guidelines. I think you trained for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then my first fight. And I remember...
So 3 weeks into you joining the gym, you had your first fight?
My first fight, yeah.
What was it? Was it an amateur fight, and where was it?
Yeah, it was my amateur fight. It was out somewhere in Henderson at a warehouse.
Yeah.
So they set up a ring in there, and yeah, boxing was on. So that was my first fight.
First proper amateur fight?
Amateur fight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you win?
Nah, I lost.
Oh, really?
I actually lost 2 fights that day. My opponent and my father. Yeah, because see, I at the time my English was no good, man. No good. My English wasn't good.
Yeah, yeah.
So first round I was going out and I was banging my opponent, boom, boom, banging, banging, smacking, and the ref said stop, but I kept going.
Yeah.
Like I just kept hitting him. I actually thought the ref said keep going, man. And then he pulled me to the side and said,
"Hey, we're not in the islands, man. When I say stop, I mean stop."
Yeah, then he said to me, go to the other side. So I went off to the other side, and then I thought, whoa, what's going on here? And then the trainer put the rope on. I was in the middle of the ring, and I was like, cool, I won the fight. And then in the ring announcer said, and the winner is, and I actually thought he was going to put my hand up, and I lost. I got disqualified.
So you only lost due to disqualification?
Disqualification, yeah.
But in the real world, you won.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a good fight.
And so you did the amateur fight?
Yes.
And who sees potential in you? Did you get the bug? Were you like, shucks, I could make something out of this. This is mean. I love this. Or was it like, how did you continue it? And how did you move forward after that? Because was there a lot of, like, where did that, because for you to produce that much power, and because was this in the first round when you knocked that guy out?
Yeah, it was the first round.
To be able to do that, man, you've got something in here. So was there something in here where you were like, man, I want to continue this. I love this bug.
No, I think I was more scared of my father than anything. I think I was more scared that if I lose, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, yeah.
So then other things developed, the inner strength, and then your mind started changing, and then the love of the sport kicks in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you love mainly when you were a kid about the sport?
Winning.
Yeah.
Winning, man, winning. Apart from the challenges of the training camp and training every day.
Yeah.
Winning.
So how many fights did you do on the amateur arena?
Total, I believed it was 84. So
84 amateur fights.
Yeah,
Wow.
That wasn't that much. When you're talking about international, like guys from the States and Europe,
Yeah.
man, they've had like over 300 fights.
It's funny you say that because when I had Junior on the podcast a couple of days ago, he actually said the same thing.
Yeah.
That when you're in New Zealand, you get suffocated from all those fights because New Zealand's in a little small area down on the other side of the world, so you don't get the chance to fight as many fights. So when you get to the bigger levels, you're in a deficit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pretty much.
And so what was your record in the amateur arenas?
Yeah, 86. I think it was 86 fights.
How many wins, how many
six,
losses?
6 losses.
6 losses.
And I think
That's a pretty good ratio, man.
yeah, a lot of knockouts. Yeah, it was good. It was good fun. It was good fun. Yeah.
Are there anyone that you fought during that arena that made a name for themselves as well? Or nah, did they all kind of retire after they got knocked out?
Yeah, maybe at the Olympic Games.
Yep. And who was that?
I fought Izon, so I lost him in the semis.
Yep.
So he went on to become a really good professional fighter. And I think there were other guys. Oh, yes, and a guy that I ended up fighting, later on in the professional careers was Chris Bird. But,
Yep.
even though I didn't fight him at the Olympic Games, but it happens that he was one of the fighters there as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you did the 85 amateur fights. You only lost 6. And what was the last fight of your amateur career? Was that the Olympics? And then you obviously turned pro after that, or?
Yeah, that's pretty much the
story.
Yep, the last Olympic Games fight was Izon, Nigeria, and then I never thought that I would turn pro, and I thought I was just gonna come back and rest up a little bit. Because see, at the Olympic Games, my hope was all about buying my parents a house. So at the time, I believe if you do well and win the gold at the Olympic Games, I believe at the time the Sports Foundation or something will give you a certain amount of money. So I thought here in New Zealand.
Yeah. And
So
they did that, or?
Yeah, no. So I thought then, man, that would be a great
Goal.
way,
Yeah.
a great way for me to put a down payment on my parents' house. Obviously, it didn't go my way, but I still kept the faith. And I remember calling Mum on the phone and crying on the phone, and because that was the promise I made to her before I left for the Olympic Games, that I was going to win the gold and get that down payment for a house. Now, obviously, it didn't go my way, but I still kept the faith. Something in me said, no, it's all good. It's not going to be the end. So an hour later, I met Lou Duva, which at the time had all the best fighters in the world.
Was he a coach? Was he a coach?
So
Lou Duva?
Lou Duva was one of the best promoter
Gotcha.
in the professional game
Gotcha.
at the time. So I met him on the train, and he gave me his card. He says, look, give me a call. You're one of the best, strong, good puncher at the Olympic Games.
Yep.
I would love to sign you up. So I came back, went back to the village, and this is about an hour later after I spoke to Mum.
Yep.
Went back to the village, got on the phone again, called her collect, and then I said, Mum, do you remember I said that I will get you to the house?
Yeah.
I met this man named Lou Duva, and he's gonna bring me over to the States and sign me up so I can get you that house. So yeah,
So you end up losing that fight at the Olympics.
semis, yeah,
The semis.
Semi-finals,
And you
yeah.
get an opportunity to talk to this massive promoter.
yeah.
So obviously David was a little bit deflated, and then all of a sudden you meet this promoter and you're like, oh wow, the opportunity's still there. So you come back home, you see your family. I think did you get bronze or silver? Bronze.
Yeah.
You come back home with the bronze, and now you're like, I've got another plan. Yeah. What happens after that? You end up calling Lou Duva straight after that to be like, hey, I want to come over to the States.
Yeah.
What happens after when you get back?
When we got back, we had this massive. See, I didn't know what the Olympic Games was. I knew the Olympic Games back then was all about people running and falling over.
Yeah. You didn't realize boxing's in it. Yeah.
And a few boxing, clips and all that. But apart from that, that was the only thing I knew about the Olympic Games. So coming back home, they had this massive parade. I was like, wow.
When you got back to the airport.
Yeah, when we got back to the airport, and all these people are like, whoa. I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, far out. All these people, they know me. Wow.
So you didn't realize that you were the celebrity when you went over. You were just going upon your own business.
I didn't know anything about being a celebrity, but I was like, all these people are remembering me and knowing my name. I was like, far out. Even on the same street that I walk on every day, right?
People driving past. And
Yeah, like coming out, goes, man. And then I started signing his stuff, and I was like, well, what is that?
Yeah.
That was your autograph. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, cool. So that was weird. It was weird.
And so you arrive not knowing and not expecting the hype. Yeah. And how do you continue your journey after that to go pro? So straight after the Olympics, because obviously it's an amateur thing. And then how do you become a pro after that? What's the next step?
So this is when I met Kevin Barry.
Cool.
So I was at Aotea Square, and he approached me. He gave me his business card.
Yep.
And we made the connection, and the rest is history. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll come back to Kevin Barry's situation, obviously. And what, you turn and you have another pro fight straight after that? Or like, how did you turn pro? What was your first pro fight?
So my first pro fight, it was towards the end of 1992. So this is just fresh from out of the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
And I had my first pro day fight, and it was an amazing feeling.
Where was it?
It was in the States, Virginia Beach, and of all places, they I actually thought I was looking forward seeing all the Samoans there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And which means I thought they were taking me to LA, like California.
Yeah.
But they took me to an equivalent of Bluff, New Zealand. They took me to Bluff,
Like
man.
way on the other side of the world.
Yeah, they took me to Bluff, and
Who did you fight? What was his name?
so
Do you remember?
Rock Newman.
Rock Newman.
Rock Newman.
She's actually got a great memory.
Rock Newman, yeah. So that was my first pro debut.
That was your first pro debut,
Yeah.
and you won?
I think so.
You must have. You must have. You had a pretty impressive pro.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I won.
And what happens after that? You come back, Kevin's happy, everyone's happy, your mum's happy. Did you get the down payment then?
So absolutely. That was the first part. I mean, that was the first big thing that I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Down payment.
Yeah.
Parents' house.
Yeah. And you got it?
Yeah, got it.
What was the fight purse roughly, if you don't mind me?
I think the fight purse, I think it was five grand.
Wow.
Yeah. So it wasn't how should I say it? You know, you have this massive dream when people said, oh, you know, signed $1 million.
$1 million, yeah.
Man, it was gonna be great. None was ever handed to me.
Yeah.
I had to pretty much work hard for everything. None was ever handed to me. I had to work for it.
And how many pro fights all up did you have?
I think 50 something, 54, 52 or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
And what was your tail of the tape for that? How many wins, draws, losses, all that?
Yeah, I think I had 5 losses. 5 losses.
Shucks, that again is incredible.
Not bad at all.
And so with your, you obviously do you keep record of the fastest knockouts that you had? Because I think you've got one of the fastest ever too, eh?
You know,
Man.
You know when I fought brother Shane Cameron. Hey, how you doing, Shane Cameron, the Mount Warrior? I'll be doing a podcast with you soon, brother.
Yes, sir.
So when I fought Shane, it wasn't until I fought Shane that I realized that I did some stuff in the professional arena. Like with all these
So this
things.
is towards the end of your career.
Yeah. And the ring announcer was saying all these things. Oh, and 48th biggest puncher in the division in any weight of all time. And I was like, wow. Here I am getting ready to fight Shane Cameron. And I didn't realize, right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Because I don't sit on my record. I don't look at things.
From the past.
Yeah, from the past. So I don't sit there and say, oh, you know, I've got 10 knockouts or I've got 20 knockouts in the first round. It's never been like that. Once the fight is over, it's over.
It's done.
It's done. Yeah.
Let's talk about your training style. You've got an amazing style, David. Like, what would you call it? Would you call it the peekaboo style? Like, your head does not stop moving. Like, when you're in the ring, man, your head is constantly like going left to right, ducking and diving. Like, man, you were such an active fighter. How did you come up with that style? Who did you emulate back then?
Bit of everything.
Was it Mike Tyson or?
I think from Dad. So Dad was my first teacher. Then Cameron Todd in the amateurs.
Who was that? Was he?
He was one of my trainers here in the amateurs here in New Zealand.
Yep.
And
what did he teach you?
oh, I mean, a lot of stuff like jab, right hand,
Yep.
rolling punches. So every trainer will teach fighters
A different way.
a different way.
Yeah.
So that's, I've always believed there's got to be more than one way to throw a left hook
Yeah.
or right hand.
Yeah.
So I was very blessed to be taught by a lot of these great great trainers and teachers.
Which
The
coach?
best-
Which
yeah.
coach had the best imprint on you?
I think all of them except one One, his name is Georgie Benton. So he was actually the black guy that was always in the corner with Lou Duba at earlier days of my professional career.
Yep.
And man, he was amazing. So he actually, for me,
He was the one that you always remember.
He
taught you a
taught
lot.
me the best defense.
Yep.
So I believe if he hadn't taught me that, I really believe you and me wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Give us an idea of what he taught you. The peekaboo style.
How to block punches.
Yes, with your shoulder? No.
Well, pretty much. How should I put it? So you sort of like put your hand over in this way. So for 3 weeks, this is pretty much what I was doing. You block a left jab, right hand, and then a hook.
You always had that style. I remember that year. You always had that style. Yeah, you are right. Yeah.
But it for me, it wasn't so much of him helping me with boxing. He helped me with life, because I believe if he hadn't taught me that style, man, I don't know. Because the thing is, if a puncher, he realizes that to be a puncher, you need to have good defense.
Yes. Yeah.
Because a lot of the fighters that he's seen over the years, he'll always say, look, see that guy right there? He might be a puncher, he might be a good fighter, but he's going to have a short career.
Yeah. Because a lot of people talk about some of the greats, and you're definitely up there. But a lot of people put Floyd Mayweather up there.
Right.
Because of his defense. People couldn't touch him. Right. What's your perception on defense over punching? You got to have a great defensive game, and it's not how you punch; it's how you can take them. And
So the game of boxing is you make him miss him, make him pay.
Yeah, nice.
So that's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
and to love boxing is to love life as well. So which means, make sure you protect yourself. As they always say in the ring,
protect
before the
yourself
fight,
all times.
at all times.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like I said, like just seeing your career. So I was a massive fan.
Thank you.
And we were talking about this beforehand. Like I was a massive fan, and just seeing you fight the fighters that you fought, then and now to see them in the Hall of Fame as greats with you, there's not many people that can say that they fought as many fights as you did in New Zealand, but also the caliber. Is there one fight that you remember to this day was like, shucks, he rattled me?
No.
No?
Respectfully, no.
Yeah. Who was your hardest fighter to fight?
My mom. She had a good uppercut. Had a good overhand. I respect. I respect everyone that's ever shared the ring with me.
Yeah, of course.
So
I would too.
Yeah, so therefore
it's not easy.
Yeah, no. So therefore you
don't share it long. That's usually a minute.
That's right. So therefore you prepared yourself to the best that you can. Mentally, spiritually, physically.
Yeah.
When you're in there, there's no telling you're coming back or not.
Yeah.
Because every time you're in that ring, you put your life on the line.
Yeah. How did you train your right? Because you had like when you put it up there against Mike Tyson, man, like obviously that's going to be the fight that never happened, the fight that everyone wanted, maybe at the moment.
Right.
How did you train that? Or was that born?
Better both. Whatever God has blessed me with, I need to do my part as well. So I need to train, I need to practice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in the amateur arena, did you always know you had that right, or was that from that first fight that you had back in Samoa?
I think right. I think it was more the left than the right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. People always ask me what's your best punch.
Yep.
And in respectful, I always say the one that lands.
Yep. Oh, true. That's
you don't go out there and say, oh, this was my best or that's my best.
Yeah.
So if it does the job, then it was good.
Yeah. And, I don't know whether many people know this, but I remember it like it was yesterday. You went you fought for the undisputed champion of the world against Lennox Lewis, who, is one of the greats as well.
Right.
How was it climbing up the ranks? Was that the goal all the time to get to that point where you could take on, obviously, Lennox at the time?
No.
I think it was in the early 2000s, eh?
So all those came later, but I had already accomplished what I was set out for.
Yeah.
The first fight was a down payment on my parents' house, and I think it was my 12th fight.
Yeah, yeah.
I put the final payment on the house. So,
Wow.
And that was it. You know, everything else, you know, God had opened my mind up with the things that I was able to see and things that I was able to understand.
Yeah.
And dreams are born, and they changes all the time.
So people don't realize. So are we talking about the house on Beta Drive? No, the one that's near the dairy.
Robertson Road.
Yes, sorry, yes. Near the dairy. Is that the house that you're talking about?
Robertson Road, yes.
And so by the 12th fight, you had paid it off.
Yes.
Wow. How many years into your pro career? Was that 3 years in, 4 years in?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe 4 or something like that. Maybe.
That's amazing, man. Like a lot of people don't know that obviously your house was that house right next to the dairy. And then you obviously renovated it for your parents. How did it feel to be able to say, Mum, Dad, you guys live life without a mortgage?
That's my responsibility. And as kids, that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's what we believe in. It's the least that we can do for our parents.
Yeah.
You know, we can never give back the unaccounted hours, the sacrifice that they've done for us.
Yeah.
So, you know, if we can do something, we will do the best that we can to make sure that, most importantly, that they're happy.
What was the one thing that you missed about your dad that he always taught you? You live to this day. Work hard, and what else?
I can't touch him.
Yeah.
You know, because he's gone. You know, he's with Mum. So that's probably the thing that I miss the most is talking with them, talking to Mum and talking to Dad. You know, I had a situation at one time, because I've always been brought up in a way that you don't question things, but you do it because you know that your parents has taught you the best way
that they know,
and they're doing it with the right intentions. So
yeah.
I needed to hear it. I needed to hear that my dad is proud of me.
Yeah.
My mom would tell me 24 hours, I love you, son.
You could be a failure in school, you know, you could get knocked up. It's like, Mum, you're not telling me what I need to hear.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And every time I ask Mom, how come Dad doesn't say it? Well, you know, son, you know, your dad loves you and your dad's proud of you. But how come he doesn't say it?
Yeah.
He says it to his friends, but he doesn't tell us. Yeah. Because even they tell me.
Yeah.
So one day I was at the house and he was upstairs.
How old were you when this happened?
This is later on in my life.
Yep.
Maybe in my 30s.
Yep.
But I needed to know. You know, no one knows what life brings to them. Tomorrow. It's not guaranteed.
Yep.
So I said to my nephew Lou, I said, "Where's Papa?" I said, "Upstairs." I was like, "Oh, cool. Where's Nana?" "Oh, it's not here." Like, oh, sweet.
Perfect.
So I went around the corner. I got some cans. I came back. And I gave it to my nephew, and then he looks at it and goes, Nana said he can't drink. He's not allowed to drink. I was like, Nana, go upstairs, give it to Papa. So he went upstairs, gave it to him. And I was downstairs waiting for that time, for that moment, that right moment. I was downstairs waiting. Once I started hearing him singing, I was like, yeah, this is the perfect time. So I went upstairs.
Yep.
And I started talking with him about life.
Yep.
And I said, are you proud? How come you don't tell me you're proud of me? He goes, oh, son, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I love you, my son. You know?
Yeah.
And for me, now he's not here anymore. I'm happy that he said it to me, even though I had to find a way.
Yeah.
Even though I had to find a way to get it out of him.
Yeah.
But at least I got to hear him say it.
He was the one person you wanted to make sure he was proud.
Oh, of course. Your father is always the last one, because I don't know if it's pride or maybe that's just the way they were brought up through what they knew and what they saw back then, but I needed to hear it.
So out of the 85 amateurs, the 54 pros, when did he tell you this? Was it right at the end?
No, this is like later on in life. Like when I
you
was
retired?
30. No, I was still boxing. I was still boxing. In my 30s, maybe in my 30s or 40s. Yeah.
And then to hear that, how did that feel?
Oh man, I had the tears. I had the tears come down my eyes.
Yeah.
Because I needed to hear it.
Yeah.
I needed to hear it. I mean, his friends telling me
That he says it.
Yeah, I feel like it's robbed me of something.
Yeah.
Them telling me, they're not telling me.
Yeah.
Because
it's not coming from the horse's mouth.
Yeah. So for him to say that, that was quite emotional. You know, I said, say it again.
Yeah. So do you think your success throughout your amateurs and your pros was driven because you were always trying to get that validation? Where you were always trying to get it? You know what I mean? We were like, bro, I'm going to make my dad proud. He's going to tell me he's proud of me. You know, I'm going to go out, I'm going to smash this guy because he's in between me and my dad telling me that he's proud of me. So I'm going to make you proud, Dad.
Yeah. So I already knew. I already knew. I was content. I already knew in my heart that he was proud of me, but I needed to hear it.
To hear it, yeah.
I needed to hear it. So, yeah.
Amazing. And so your Lennox Lewis fight. So I've said this before. I personally think you were the first big Samoan sports star. I personally think. I'm not even Samoan, but you put Samoa on the map. You know, with your tattoo, with your hairstyle, how proud you were of your Samoan culture. Because every pro fight you would take the Samoan flag, which was not many people knew of that. You know, you're from New Zealand. Usually you take the stars, the Southern Cross up there. Right. And you go to the biggest stage in boxing. You've made your way up to the rankings. How did that feel going? Where was the fight? Was it in Vegas?
In Vegas.
Yeah. And how did you feel going that you were going to fight Lennox? Did you know about him? Were you watching him? Because he was a tall fighter. I think he had the dreadlocks. Yeah, dreadlocks. He always used to fight in the white trunks. And I think his mum was from UK, I think, or Jamaican. Yeah, and they moved to England and then I think he represented America, eh?
Canada,
yeah. And so what was your fight camp like leading up to that fight, the biggest fight at the time?
It was a good camp, but it could be better. You know, it could be a lot better. There were many distractions. There were things that could have been so much better.
What were some of the distractions?
I think from the business side of things.
Yeah.
Could be in my own personal life as well.
Yeah.
I think the pressure as well.
Financial pressure?
No, the pressure of the actual
expectation.
The event itself.
Yeah.
So, and yet, you know, you draw on your faith and your strength at times.
Yeah.
To try and deal with it. You know, certain things that I
could have done different.
Look back at it now and said I could have done a lot better. But you know, I don't have no regrets because where things were at the time, I've always believed I've done things with the right intentions.
Yeah.
So learned a lot from it, and what's really important, you keep moving forward.
Yeah. And so obviously a lot of people know this in the media. So obviously you had a fallout with your old coach, trainer / manager.
Right.
And, you know, it was in the limelight everywhere. The newspapers were all over it, literally.
Right.
So tell us, obviously, the breakdown that happened there, David. Like, how did that happen? Where did that go? You know, there's a lot of sides of the story. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth about what you feel happened at the time and how did it all come to fruition, Mosul?
I think for me, it was part of my journey. I believe, you know, the writings were on the walls, and I think it was due time.
Yeah.
So even though I didn't quite understand at the time what was actually happening, but you know, as things happened, you know, you sort of realize that either you take the highway or you do the right thing.
Yeah.
So it became such a struggle for me mentally.
Yeah.
And it was a thing where I didn't quite understand what was actually happening, but yet I did the best I could to deal with it.
So you had the Tour Man organization, which had everything in it. You had your trainers, promoters, everything, and there was a breakdown of communication, or you just noticed something wasn't going on? And what part of your career did you start to see, hey, this doesn't seem right?
I think for me it wasn't so much of what it was said,
Yeah.
or what I heard,
Yeah.
but when I guess for me it was more looking at life, and look at what was actually happening, and realize that, man, things are not adding up.
Yeah.
And
Give us an example. Dude.
Like, for example, when I was in camp at one time, and I sort of questioned certain things and not really getting the right answer, and yet someone else is giving me a different answer. It sort of make you think twice.
Which camp was this?
I think I'm not sure which camp it was, but you're talking about not having that right feeling.
Yeah. The intuition.
Not having that right feeling. But for me, I always try to see things from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And not always try to assume things.
Yeah. So you always
yeah.
you always give everyone the benefit of the doubt.
And the most challenging thing is when they occur in camp. It's for me, it's tough to talk about these things because you're supposed
focus.
to be, you're supposed to be concentrating on the fight.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Often people ask me, said, what would you rather? Would you rather be an angry fighter or a happy fighter? I've always believed a happier fighter is a dangerous fighter than an angry fighter. So, yeah.
So just as a timeline of your career, because you had a great career, David. Like, it was an amazing career.
Thank you.
Like I said, you went to the highest of the high. Like literally, not many people have gone to fight for the undisputed championship of the world. Like literally, and I think that makes up. Is it the 3 divisions? The WBO. I think, is that how they do it? All the 3 boxing federations, or was there 4?
I think it was 4.
4.
Yeah, 4. Yeah.
And you were going up to basically you compete for all of them.
Right.
What part of your career did this start to, that smoke, that saying, where there's smoke, there's fire? Right. What part of your career did you start to notice that the ill doings, or just something that it didn't seem right?
Yeah, I think, sort of around
the Lennox?
Around that time. So, yeah.
So it would have been hard for you to focus on that fight.
It's tough.
Like,
but, you do what you can, and you don't complain about it. You try to deal with certain things.
Yeah.
Like I said, my intentions were always right, so I didn't question anything.
No.
But I did the best I could to deal with whatever the situation that I'm sort of going through.
So how does one go into a fight camp with someone that you're meant to trust, who's meant to do the best for you, hold the pads for you, but in your mind during that camp, you're like, shucks, is this guy ripping me off? How do you do that? How do you overcome that? Because it's a constant mental battle. Because you're fighting 2 voices, really, eh, Dave? Hey, Mosul. You're fighting 2 voices. You're fighting the one that's like, man, my gut doesn't feel right about this. But then he tells me he's my friend. How did you get through that fight camp?
Sometimes you don't question it because you've got because you know the consequences of what you've got yourself into.
The pressure of the world.
The fight. So therefore you seem to numb everything.
Yeah.
And
accept
concentrate.
it.
Yeah. And concentrate on what's ahead.
I don't know how you did it, Mosul.
Me
Seriously.
Me either.
Do you think if you didn't have that lingering, that smoke at the time, do you think the fight camp could have been a lot different and the result could have been a lot different as well? Because you gave Lennox a big run for his money, man. Like, I think it was the 11th or 12th round I watched that fight. But he was running around the ring. He was scared. Like, he couldn't, he couldn't get away from you. You were just going bam, 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 haymakers,
I think for me, with due respect, Lennox is a great champion of his era.
Yeah.
But knowing if I go out there and give it my best performance and knowing that I gave it everything, I can accept that.
You did.
But to go out there and know that you didn't give it your best, it's very hard to accept.
Yeah.
Very hard to accept. So I I've had to live with it for a very long time.
You have.
And tried to deal with it myself in my own ways.
Because like some of your size at the time should not have gone 12 rounds. He shouldn't have gone, like, seriously, David, like I know as a coach, as a trainer, but you had to find something deep within you to sustain, you know what I mean?
There was a lot of conversation with myself, two people in there about what was going on. You know, at times, one side said, man, just throw the towel, man, just give up.
So one side, do you mean Kevin, or do you mean yourself? Yeah.
I'm having a conversation with myself in there. You know, whilst the fight is going, it's like, dude, just quit. Just quit, man.
What was making you quit, Dave? Was it your mental state? Was it your physical state? Was it your fitness? What was it?
I think it was a bit of everything. The reason why is because I knew in myself that I can do so much better, but I know that the thing that's holding me back is what's going on up here.
The mental battle.
And no matter what's going on up here, and nothing is, one of the things that the best trainers had often said, the more you think, the less you do. Yeah. The more you think, the less you do, and the less you think, the more you do.
Correct, because you're not overthinking all the time.
You're not overthinking. You're supposed to just go in there and let your hands go, fight.
Yeah.
But the battles for me, not only I was getting hit with shots, but yet there were other fights going on.
Yeah, because you heard him, man. Like, with all due respect to Lennox, like,
yes.
Yeah, you did amazing.
Thank you.
And so, going back to obviously the Kevin Barry situation and that also,
right?
Was it straight after that camp where you had to confront the demon and be like, bro, I don't feel something doesn't seem right, Kev. Like,
yeah.
How did that all go? And did that happen straight after the Lennox fight?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not quite sure because it's been some time now.
Yeah.
But it would have obviously been around that time, I guess.
And so the smoke settles. You come back to New Zealand.
Yeah.
You have a chat to, I think, your wife at the time.
Yeah.
I think Robina, and you guys have a talk and be like, man, something's gone wrong with the situation. I don't trust. Rah. How did you, because being a boxing coach, and I'm no boxer, but I know that they're literally your brother for that your career, right? They live with you, they cook for you, they everything. Yeah.
Well,
how did you come up with the courage to be like, bro, don't ever text me again, we're going to take this legal?
I think it wasn't so much of having the courage. I think it was about having a clear mind of what was happening, or what's been happening, and then having an understanding of what decision to make.
Yeah,
I think because at times I believe I could have made a lot of bad decisions, but for me,
what do you mean in terms of like financial or your boxing decisions?
No, I think I could have taken matters into my own hands.
Yep,
and would have done things that.
Give us an example, so.
Well, I think one of the things that I sit with was once I sort of knew what was going on, the only way to deal with these situations is an eye for an eye, and that's it. There's no second thought or second chance about it.
Yeah.
There isn't. So
because I might be over speaking, but because the legal situation can protect people. That's where I'm getting. And, and the thing is, like, if you're like myself and obviously yourself,
right,
and you do things for people for the betterment because you think that they've got the best interests for you, sometimes they can protect themselves legally. And sometimes it's hard because obviously, like, English being your second language, it would have been hard for you to have actually accepted it at the time because you would have been like, hey, bro, like, it's not here. But then in the legal arena, it is. Whatever has happened. And how did that all come out to play? Was also, did you end up telling him, Kev, you're not my coach anymore? Like, how did that come?
That's pretty much what it came down to. I made a call and they said, that's it, it's over, it's finished.
Yeah.
And then searched to make sure that that these stuff needs to go to court, and then we went to court and sorted it out. So that's pretty much where I spend most of my
earnings.
Well, not only earnings, but I think a lot of my time where I could have been fighting and could have.
You were fighting a battle in court.
Yeah, in court. So I think we were in.
You weren't throwing punches. You were throwing paper.
I think we were in there for about six years or something.
Wow.
And so a lot of wasted times. But when I think about it as well, if I was to see it only from that side, I wouldn't appreciate a lot of other stuff that I've learned. I've had to learn myself. Through the court system and other things. If I was to look out for other fighters coming through.
Yeah. And we were talking about it discreetly before. We were talking about that Lennox Lewis purse. The only reason why I like to use that was because that was a pivotal moment in your career. And you were saying the purse was originally, was it 2 to 3 mil?
Yeah, I think so. That was around
roughly about that.
Yeah.
And people would think, people when they look at boxers also, they think, lavish lifestyle, $3 million home, Lamborghini, all that type of stuff. And we were talking that you didn't actually get the purse that you thought. And what happened there, Mosel? So there was an agreement, you signed the papers, but what trickled down didn't actually come to fruition?
Yeah, everything was done through Toolman Inc.
Yep, so and that was the company at the time.
At the time. And that's pretty much a lot of the purse from the fights that have gone to, and then it gets funded from down there. So with that, if the company is your name,
you think that usually
thought it's yours, but then you find out later that it's not. So it becomes another situation that you have to try and deal with and try to sort yourself.
So people don't realize this, but the Toolman organization, you didn't own actually at the time because of how it was structured.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, this is the thing that people don't know was all like, we all thought, Toolman, we'll go buy a Toolman shirt. We'll go buy a Toolman hoodie. $49, $59. And then it's going to the top, but not going down to tour. We're supporting people that don't even have the last name Tua.
Yeah. But you can buy it now. It comes straight to me.
You can buy that, or you can buy premium nutrition.
Yes. That's right. All day, every day. Yes.
Oh man. So 6 years in courts, are you legally allowed to tell us how much of legal proceedings it was?
It was a lot of money.
7 figures, 6 figures?
A lot of money. So I think for me, it was one side it was wasted time, and on the other side, you learn a lot. From a different perspective about the system, how to use the system, and if someone was to ask me what my advice would be for someone that's about to go to court, I said, man, don't go to court.
It's a waste of time.
Sort things out of the court. Yeah.
Because
you're wasting money. You're wasting money and you're wasting time.
Yeah.
Your time you can't get back.
The only people that win are the lawyers.
Of course, respectfully, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the system will always win.
Because the more time that plays out, well, someone's going to get paid. And it's not me, it's not you, it's the people in the middle.
And someone has to pay for it.
Yeah.
So,
And I think the hardest thing in New Zealand as well is you've got limited liability companies, so they can hide behind that.
That's right.
And I don't know, obviously, the deep discrepancies of your guys' situation, but I know that for a fact of owning my own companies, I know that they can protect you. A company can protect you. So obviously, if
it was very simple. All it was setting up the company so that they can use my money. That's what it is. We're very simple. David Tua's money he can look after in his own bank account.
Yeah.
Why does a company has to be set up for?
Yeah.
Right. It's very simple. So it's not. But anyways, like I said,
so people don't realize that Toolman Inc. wasn't set up as David as a director.
Well, it was to set up to rob David Tua. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Very simple.
For people to know, David was the fighter. David would sign the contract for mil, 2 mil, 3 mil. It would go to this company that David wasn't a director of, and then all of a sudden it would be going elsewhere. That's basically the simple term of what they did.
Well, what I believe and where I'm at now, it should have never
Happened.
been a two-man company. None.
Yeah.
All it was just a misuse of funds. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what it is. One guy that goes out there and gets his body, puts his body on the line, life
Goes
on
to
the
war.
line. Yeah. And then
Doesn't get entitlement of a pay that he should have been.
But it becomes like I said, it becomes a great learning experience.
Yeah.
A learning experience.
Was it hard to sit in court facing someone that you considered an uso?
No, wasn't hard at all.
Did he ever look in you in the eye? I bet he didn't. Because I can't even look at you in the eye.
So, not at all. I wasn't worried about if he were going to look at me or not. I think for me, halfway through, I sort of realized it was waste.
Yeah.
Waste of time.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a waste of time,
What
going
would
in there and all that.
what would have been a successful court proceed for you? Result, I should say. What would have been a perfect result for David if it all had gone to plan? At the situation, what would have been a perfect situation?
I got it. I've got my peace of mind. I wake up every morning. I don't have to stress about anything. I get to do what I love, and that is to train every day. I get to talk to Budgie,
Yep.
give him a hard time. I get to come out and hang out with you and your beautiful wife here at your gym and talk about life and share life stories that can help impact those who could be going through the same challenges.
Situation,
yeah, and let them know that, hey, there's a better way.
Yeah.
There's a better way to do it. Yeah.
So how soon after that did you call the retirement? Was that during that court procedure? You were no longer fighting anymore, eh?
I sort of got to the end of the court case and I sort of wasn't sure if I wanted to fight anymore.
There was no passion
Because I was
there.
tired. Yeah, I was tired. I was passionate. I sort of just passed out in my own ways and said, I don't want to do this anymore. But then I was like, maybe, okay, well, let's do it. So then we got together with, a man that I respect a lot, and he's passed away as well. He's a really good promoter, good people.
Yep.
His name is Cedric Kushner.
Yep.
He has the most significant...
Promotion company?
not only promotion company, but the way he signs, he scribbles, goes like that. I said, how do you know when to stop?
That's a signature.
It's a signature. I said, I count how many times I go back and forth. Yeah, so I called him and then came down. We had a good talk.
Yep.
And then we put on the fight. And
Which fight was that, if you don't mind me asking?
I think it was when I decided to come back after the court case.
Yep.
I think it was a Talmadge Griffiths.
Oh, yes. Yep.
And it was out at the West Auckland
Yep.
side. Yeah.
Yep.
And we were thinking about, we need to bring a ring announcer. And then we're all looking around and goes, let's bring Michael Buffer. I said, well, how do I get money to bring him here?
How much is he going to cost?
Yeah, right. Then luckily I know people, and then I reach out to, because I'm a good friend of his father. Over the years, early on in my career, I used to talk to his father, Michael Buffer's father, quite a bit, and became really good friends, and invited me to his house. And we've kept that relationship over the years, even with his brother Joe, that's doing the UFC.
UFC, yep.
So then make the connection, and the rest is history. So now I run into people, like I'm not running into people, not like it's rugby, but I meet people.
Yeah.
I meet people from time to time, and for those who did come to that fight, they said to me the experience that they received that night when he did the ring announcing
Was amazing.
They felt like they were in Vegas.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what we wanted. We wanted that experience.
What year was that fight?
Man, I don't remember, man. I don't remember. But it was in the, 2010?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2010, 20... No, was it 20? Yeah. hold on. 2005. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
2005.
And you won that fight?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And you end up saying,
I'll go back. I'll go back to the States.
Go back again, yeah.
I'll give it another go.
Yep.
Give it a go, man.
Yeah.
And
what did you find, Dave, at the time? Did you find that you didn't have that drive, that fire?
I did find like the drive was there, right? But I'm not sure what it was. I think it's not that I didn't have the passion. I felt at the time that, okay,
you were exhausted
cool.
after the fight in the court.
Yeah, I think I was just tired.
Yeah.
But as far as like having the passion, my passion was there. I was training really, really hard. One thing I knew was that even though I sort of got myself in good shape at the time, but it was very tough.
What was tough?
Very tough.
I
think it was tough. It was tough getting into that stage. And at times, they either, like, there was a lot of guys that weren't going to fight. And they weren't going to fight unless the promoter paid them a lot of money.
Who? And give us an example.
I don't know who it was, but I know that there were challenges. So I got myself into shape.
Yep.
A fight was supposed to be in 3 weeks' time, and then
pulled out.
Yeah, and then pulled out. And it was the same thing over and over and over, and it was quite frustrating, and it was quite tiring as well. And I sort of like felt that passion was diminished, like it was starting to
wear
fade,
out.
fade, and then the age was getting up there, and then I was like, "Hey, dude,
because
maybe you need to go and sell some cars, man."
So during that 6 years that you were in court, you weren't training at all.
No, man, I was just enjoying life. I was just getting fat, man. That's pretty much what it was.
Do you think you lost a bit of the physical at the time, the mental? Because obviously the mental, and it was too busy focused on that during the 6 years, or?
I think yes, I did. I lost a lot of that focus that I had over the years when I was training, and I sort of did listen, but I didn't listen to anyone because I wanted to deal with the court stuff first.
Yeah.
I sort of wanted to concentrate on the court stuff, and then when that's done, then the other stuff.
Yeah.
Where I could have been like yourself, multitask, dude, that you can do everything.
Did you end up resenting the sport sometimes because of that court proceedings?
No, not really. Because at times I was given a chance to fight for world title. There were a lot of other guys that I've beaten over the years that were getting title shots from left and right.
Yep.
And then opportunities came, but I was in no shape because I was in court.
Yeah.
So it came and gone.
This is something that a lot of people want to know. Did you ever approach Mike Tyson's camp?
I'm not sure if I did, but I know a lot of people had asked me about it. Will I fight Mike? One time I was on the undercard of Mike Tyson. I think he fought Olin Norris. And there were talk about me and Mike fighting. At the time, he just left Don King.
Yep.
And I'm not sure at the time if he had just signed with Showtime.
Yep.
At the time, I was contracted to Showtime.
Yep.
And I thought maybe
we could get it on.
Maybe it was going to happen.
And what happened?
But nothing happened. Nothing happened. It
was there any engagement at all from his camp to you or your camp to his?
I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure there were, because like I said, I wasn't aware of anything, but I know there was talk. Like I said, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
So, but nothing came about.
I suppose the hard thing is because you got managers involved, so they'll filter back information to you. Hey, is that right, Tua?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Shucks. What a. And so you do these fights. How many fights after that do you end up calling it a quit? Or retiring?
I don't know. I think straight after the Shane Cameron fight, I really wanted to finish.
Yeah.
I probably didn't have the heart for boxing anymore.
Well, bro, because let's go back a little bit. Yeah. So you weren't active as a fighter before Shane and his camp called you up, respectively. Let's just make sure that there's no turmoil there. But it was one of the most pivotal moments in New Zealand history, like alongside you know, some of the greatest moments in New Zealand, the 2011 World Cup winning. That was, and your guys, I think it was classified as the fight of the century.
I think so.
And I think it was. I think it was sponsored by Woodstock.
Yeah.
Now, David's at home, chilling, and this up-and-coming guy is, you know, you see, oh, cool. Next minute, they call out David. David's chilling at home, like, what the hell? Is he calling my name? The heck? Hey. And then I think it was at the press conferences, there's a few more times, and David's sitting at home like, bro, man, I've earned my stripes, man. Like, bro, I've been to the highest. You calling me?
Yeah.
There was some vigor behind those punches, man. Like, if I, you know, at the time, I was all like, man, when I saw that, I remember this fight distinctly because me and my mates, we went to the bar to watch it.
Okay.
And I think it was the end of the first round where you got him, you clipped him, we're like, what the? Boom. And then you just get him against the ropes. Bam, 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 bam. Tell us your fight prep for that, because that fight prep, that David could have beaten anyone, I reckon, in the ring. Anyone. Tell us about that.
Agree, totally agree. That was probably the best. That was probably the best perfect training camp that I've ever been in.
You look sharp.
Like, I was so freaking happy, man.
Yeah.
I was so freaking happy. In
Your
camp.
chest was good, your shoulders, like you looked.
Everything, just from the mind. I think this was so right. Like, it was so happy in every way.
Yeah.
And training camp was perfect. Respectfully, I think when Brother Shane's hand, when he had surgery on his right hand, I think that was really good. So I think that served as a blessing, more time for me.
Was that before the camp? Before the fight?
Before the fight.
Before the fight. Because I remember, respectively again, the fight promoter had the light. And he goes, it's going to be lights out for David.
Yeah. Because oh
man, I was like, holy crap, do you know who you're talking to right now?
Because, you know, I've always, like, I love Shane. I respect him.
Yeah.
You know, he's a dear brother of mine.
Yeah.
At that point in time in our lives, he was the man. He was the man.
He was,
He was the man.
The up and coming.
Yeah, and people are not giving him the respect he deserves.
Yeah.
So when Shane came through the ranks and he was fighting out of New Zealand, they said, man, you are dreaming. You will never get a world title shot fighting here in New Zealand. You will never get a world rank here fighting here in New Zealand. But he's proved it. He's done it.
Yeah, he did well, man.
He did really, really well, right? So when I came through the rank, he was the guy knocking people out, bringing the fighters from overseas and knocking them out here.
Yeah.
Now, when I sort of decided that maybe I'll give it another go.
One more go, yeah.
There was some seriousness in me. Now, I think it wasn't so much of what Shane said or called me out, but it was more me dealing with that demon in me and questions that I had in myself. And those questions are, do you have what it takes?
Yeah.
Are you kidding yourself?
Yeah.
And I realized that if I'm serious, the only way for me to prove that
is by jumping back in.
is fight. Yeah, it's not only jump back in the ring, but to fight Shane. So that was really one of the reasons why I decided to really give this a really, really good run. And the camp was great.
Who was the coach?
We had Pops Roger Bloodworth.
Yep.
A legend himself, came down from St. Louis to train me down here. They brought sparring partners down here. And I had the best strength and conditioning coach, Lee Parore. Man, this guy is amazing.
Yep.
And some of the stuff I did in that camp were crazy, man. Some of the stuff I did were...
If only you had premium nutrition supplements too.
Yeah, and that, I know, right? Yeah, that was probably...
the only one that you didn't
looming. It was looming. It was around the corner. It was about to break. But some of the stuff I did in that camp were like, just freaked me out, man. Sweat Lodge. Have you done Sweat Lodge?
No.
Man, this was crazy. It was a crazy setting. because it was a setting of the Trinity.
Yep.
You know, and it was a little tippy. It was this about. It wasn't.
And
It was about 2 meters high.
Yeah, you sit on it.
Yeah, and it had a small sort of circle in the middle.
Yep.
And at first, when I saw the rocks being heated up outside, I was like, "Oh, gee, that's some massive rocks for a umu." Hey, they were like just heating them up outside. I was like, "No, what's going on? Hey, are they getting some pigs or getting some beef done today?" Nah, anyways, they said, "No, that's going to be for the sweat lodge." I was like, "Oh, okay, what is that?" I didn't know what it was.
Yep.
So long story short, we
sit in it?
We sit in it. And they keep bringing, this guy was outside, keep bringing these rocks inside.
And sweating.
Oh, man. I've never experienced anything like that before, ever in my life.
Yeah.
That heat was
insane.
on another level, right? And the worst thing about it is when they poured, I don't know what it is, if it's water or something, right? And it felt like the steam felt like I've never experienced that heat.
Ever.
The hottest ever thing that I've experienced from the top of my head, my whole body. And I just felt paralyzed. Right?
Yep.
And then we started doing these chants. It was actually a Native American guy. We're doing all these chants. I'm like, hey, man.
What is this?
And then they start passing the pipe.
Yep.
I'm like, nah, man, I don't want any pipe. I don't want to do that pipe stuff, man. Mm-hmm. So anyways, we're done with the sweat lodge. And then the next day, it just felt weird,
relaxed.
man. Yeah, no, relaxed, but it just felt weird.
Yeah.
Just felt the strength.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. That was in that teepee, but man, it was good stuff.
I hope it wasn't some of that smoking ganja stuff that they love that, eh? The Native Americans,
I was wondering, man.
The peace pipe.
The peace pipe, right? But apart from that, the sparrings were good.
Yeah.
And the outcome was great. Now, one of the other best thing about the fight was my parents. Now, as much as I love my parents, as much as I love having them at the fight, they're just your laid back, beautiful, loving. Yeah. They support. They want to watch you, but they support you and pray for you,
no matter what the result.
Yeah. So this time I was like, no, I'm gonna ask him. So I went over and asked Mom and Dad. I said, Mom, Dad, I need to ask you guys. But I just need to put this out there. If you guys are coming, it's great. If not,
it was in Hamilton, eh?
Hamilton.
Yeah.
Because they always want, they never want to come and watch me. They would rather stay at home and watch me. And support me.
Yeah.
So then I said, well, I said, look, they may come a day that you both may say, oh, I wish we
came
went.
To that. Yeah.
I never wanted that feeling.
Yeah.
I never wanted that feeling for you both. But if you would like to come, it's up to you.
And they
but
come?
I hear the tickets.
Yeah, and they come?
And I was upstairs. I was getting ready. And then I looked down. I was like, I saw my parents. I was so happy.
Wow. Was it the first fight they ever came to?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Very first and then last. So that was one of the other beautiful things.
That must have been the last piece of the puzzle, eh?
Yeah. So, but yeah, apart from that, you're absolutely right. Respectfully, even though I might not have been Lewis, but for me, how I felt that night, it didn't matter who was in the ring with me.
Yeah.
Because everything was so perfect.
You're firing.
Was cool. Yeah. It was so good. Yeah. So, yeah.
Man. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is obviously Joe Parker.
Right.
How do you think he's going? He's doing amazing stuff, and I know you got a lot of respect for him. He's doing incredible. Are you happy to see him remove himself from an environment that you were once in and now come to fruition and knocking out some of the biggest names in the world? And how do you think he's going?
Yeah, he's doing really well. He's doing amazing. I think the environment that he was in before, we all have to make our own choices, and and the things that we have come to experience with certain things about those choices can allow us to look at certain things differently and look at life differently. So for him to make those choices, solely up to him. The decisions for him to take his career up to the next level, it's been great to see.
Yeah.
So, I think this is a really good time for him.
Yep.
To start putting on more good fights.
Yep.
And I just I think of nothing but good things for him. Wishing him all the very best.
I feel like he's just
his upcoming
accelerated.
fights.
Like he's just got himself into a really good space now. Like I feel before, when he was in the old environment, he had to put on a persona, you know, a weird persona. Now he just looks comfortable. It looks like he's himself.
Good.
And it's probably because he's surrounding himself with good people. Now, before we finish off, it was all two things.
Right.
How does someone beat David in the ring?
And what?
Just like in terms of fighting, like what do you? Because when you watch the fighters, man, they can't beat you, man. Like seriously, when you replay some of the replays, what was David's? What do you? If you could fight yourself, what would you do to beat yourself in terms of the ring? Would it be fitness? Would it be the jab, counter, body shots? What would it be?
I think for me, I'm willing to die. I'm willing to die for it. So that has never changed. So even though at times, you know, for example, like the Lewis fight, that I was having conversation with myself in there about you know the do's and don'ts. There was not a time that I was seriously saying, yeah, I'm going to give up. You know, I think for me, I'm very blessed that everything that is me is from my parents.
Yeah.
So I can only, if 5% of what's in me and the things that I'm doing, it's in someone else, or you know, for me and how I see my parents that I have that 5% from them, then it's a good thing. But as far as how can I beat myself, I don't know.
It's pretty hard.
I don't know. So, but no, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go, man.
So the biggest thing that everyone wants to know,
Right.
would you ever step back into the ring against Mike Tyson? I think a lot of people are talking about it. I think there's a Jake Paul coming up.
I don't know, someone, eh?
Like one of the Paul brothers, and a lot of grief on that. But like, if he wins, which you know, hopefully he does, because he's a great. Would there be a showdown, or would there be talks potentially where you'd have the greatest heavy hitters back in the ring to finally do the fight that everyone wants to see?
Well, I have no aspirations to fight again.
Yep.
I've been very lucky. I've been very blessed to have shared the ring with a lot of the great fighters.
Yeah.
Some of those who I've fought and beat have gone on to become world champions.
You have, yeah.
I guess the only fight that I've always wanted.
Yeah. What is it?
You know, it's like a dream thing. You know, as a young kid, you know, it's like a dream car. You know, but I have the utmost respect for him, Mike, because he's an icon of the sport.
Yeah.
So was to an opportunity to share the ring with Mike.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I believe there's ways to do it. Hey, but if the opportunity present itself, yes, please. Yeah, why not? It'd be nice. Yeah.
Has anyone ever entertained the discussion since, like in the most recent years, like the year or two? Or nah, it's kind of been just because if there's a lot of talk on social media, I think people are just kind of. Has there been any of that discussions, or you can't really say?
I think it's more than just the Tyson fight. Those who have approached me and said, "Oh, you know, I'll let you fight this guy. I'll let you fight Mark Hunt, and we offer you this much money." And I'm like, "Come on, man."
What is it? Is it because of respect?
Yeah, that's one thing I've stand by and I stood by it, and that is I don't want to fight any other. Any other brothers. People say, well, you know, Shane was your brother, but it was very different.
It was different at the time. There was no respect shown.
So it had nothing to do with what Shane said. But, you know, it was a fight in that point of time that I had to prove myself, so to speak. So I had to do it, yeah.
How many weeks would it need for David to get back into shape? If Mike sees us, or if someone sees it and they're like, bro, let's make it happen.
Well, I mean, I'm ready now, man.
Yes. I see your training videos, Mozo. Like
Yeah,
it's really cool, man. Like what you're doing right now.
I love my training every day. I think it's been a blessing to reconnect again with some people like Budgie and his team at Premium Nutrition Races, right? So these people are so good. I wasn't really sure what I was putting in my body, but I trusted his brother.
You do, yeah.
You know, I had to do a bit of my own homework to know what I'm putting in my body, but everything that he said, it's worked out well, man. You know, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better by the day.
Yep.
And I love every bit of this journey.
Because nowadays you own a gym, you mentor fellow up and coming fighters. Yeah. You take care of yourself. I see your videos on Facebook also. You're doing amazing.
I appreciate it.
Motivating our people. Yeah. So what's on the horizon now for David before we finish up?
That's pretty much it for me. Apart from living life every day, loving. I think the greatest thing that I love every day is taking my wife to work, and drive her to work, and pick her up, and then you know we've got some plans. We've got some plans coming up for me and my beautiful wife, and I think for me that's probably the best thing that I can do every day is to be the best husband, a best father, the best person I can be. And if through the trainings that I'm sharing every day can help someone to better themselves, then that's a good thing. Because, you know, actually it's not just slogans or quotes that I put out there. Like, because someone did ask me about it. The quote is, don't be like me, be better than me. If I can do it, you can do it.
That's what you use.
It's the truth.
I see that what you use.
But it's the truth.
Yeah.
So when I say to people, you know, if I can do it, you can do it better. Literally, it's the truth. When someone, the most toughest thing at times is for things to be done. Now, once it's done the first time, then you can look and it goes, oh, that's an easier way. I can see an easier way.
Yeah, you make the path easier for them. Yeah, so the blueprint.
There you go. So for people to understand that, it's really important at times. But apart from that, it's living life, enjoying life, and thanking God every day for just for the life to be able to wake up and be on the right side of the dirt. Yeah.
Before we finish, also, what are some words of wisdom for anyone that's watching this? Whether it could be for life, could be for boxing, training, anything. What are some words of wisdom?
I think for me, I live by moments. Living life and enjoying every moment. I believe at times we forget to celebrate each moment that we do something that's decent or something that is good, that makes you happy. We need to celebrate those moments because we can't get it back. You know, once the time passes, it passes. So the importance of making sure that you enjoy every moment and you are happy. Yeah. And I think for me, where I'm at in my life with health, I think that's what makes me happy every day.
Beautiful.
Just training every day and just staying out of people's way. Yeah. So
thank you so much for your time, Mozo. It's been a privilege having you on the podcast.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Mozo. And don't forget, team, purchase Premium Nutrition. They have sponsored this video.
Thank you.
The team, Ahmed and the team there are amazing. So don't forget, look at Premium Nutrition supplements. You know, they've obviously helped also he get into shape. And now he's feeling the best he's felt in years, and he's looking fight ready. So hopefully that discussion goes further with Mike Tyson also. So thank you guys so much for coming on board. Thank you guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.